All right, my name is Feranmi Lawyer. I'm the head coach, founder, and director of DC Dynamics Basketball Association. DC Dynamics started off as a way to solve a problem. What we wanted to do was use the sport of basketball to teach character skills to young people in our community. And as we started doing that, we realized that we had to create valuable experiences, had to get positive experiences through sports. And to do that, you had to create value, you had to invest time, you had to invest energy. And of course, that led us to creating a business. And business not in the sense per se of generating a profit, but focusing more on developing people, developing processes, and of course, creating value to the product we had already, and then using that value to generate income and go all the way back to creating positive experiences through sports. We didn't start off as a business. What we started off was intervention. What we're trying to do is maximize the potential of basketball. What I realized initially was that what we saw internationally, what we saw even in our neighboring countries, Nigeria and Togo, was not the same thing we saw in Ghana. But basketball or sports in general had so much potential. There was not enough value generated from it. And of course, this wasn't just potential business-wise, but this was also just for the fact that there is benefits to playing sports as a young person, as a human being. I mean, psychological benefits, soft skills, physical benefits. It's an essential part of human development. And I realized that just from the way we coached, the way we organized, the way we created merchandise and events, there was a lot more to be done. And hence why we started the business. We just care about it. I mean, I think that's the difference. I think we actually love what we do. And when we say, that's a very cliche term to use, but I mean in the sense that we want high standards. We want our players to be good. We want our events to be world class. We want our jerseys to look good. We want merchandise. We like what we do. We're excited about the work. It's not just so much about the wins and losses, but how we do it. We care about the players who come to us. We want them to have a positive experience. We want them to do well in school. We want them to have good character skills. We want them to grow up to be solid role models for the next generation. We want to have an impact in our society through sports. These things are genuinely important to us. So for a lot of people, it might just be about winning a game or making a profit, but we care about the people, we care about the process, and we care about the product. And that makes us very different from, well, anybody I know. Well, I can't talk too much about the broader business community, but specific to sports business, I think the challenge is just the way we do sports business. We don't generate revenue or business in and of itself. So ideally, we should be able to sell merchandise. You don't really see a lot of merchandise or gate proceeds or TV rights. It's not the traditional mode of business we have seen. What we are seeing mostly, if anything, is just sponsorship. You understand? And also the fact that we don't take value in the sport in itself. We don't have a culture where people are looking into becoming full-time sports administrators, full-time coaches, full-time medics or physios. It's not a very big industry. So coming into that industry and looking to do something very professional, something very world-class, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But that's what makes it fun. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. So that's why we do it. I've never really been a 5 to 10 year guy. I've always been a what we need to do now to get to the next step. I do know, however, that we're trying to build a world-class product. A product where, if we cannot compete on the scale of the big international brands, the product in itself is not different from it. Maybe scale-wise, we might not have the numbers, but the experience should be very similar to what you would get anywhere else in the world. So if you see Dynamics basketball tournament and you travel to France and see K54, you understand, sponsored by Nike and Jordan. Yes, you can say, oh wow, they have bright lights, they have jerseys, but the experience and the quality of the work right, should not differ. And that's what we're looking to do. And eventually the work will speak for itself and the growth will come organically. So that's where we want to be in the future. As to how long that takes, that could be in a year or two, but it's going to happen eventually if we just keep doing the work. I don't really have role models, but there are people I look to who have done something similar. They've taken a product which they believe has potential to be global, and they've taken it seriously. Something that people would disregard ordinarily, like let's say eating crab pie, which is just pie we've seen all over the road. I mean, but they've made it into a business where it's a brand. You understand, or Coco King, or what recently a lot of small Ghanaian businesses are doing with chocolate. You understand, they are making them like gourmet chocolate, which yeah, I mean, you take Toblerone or you take Godiva and you take these chocolates, I mean, there's not much of a difference in what you're tasting. The experience is the same. And that's what we want to do. Those are the people we look to. We look to people who have taken some, because honestly, if you look at the Ghanaian, just physically, our potential to be world-class athletes, right, is just huge. You understand? We're just underdeveloped. You understand? If you look at the community, how we love football, or how we gravitate towards the Black Stars when we win or even we lose, right? You can see there's a potential for something really massive, but it just hasn't been explored. So just like all these brands who have seen Coco and said, hey, we're going to make Coco Starbucks. You understand? We want to make that experience with sports in general. So those are my, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what we're looking at. I don't think there's any particular person that's appointed me the most, but more of like the sporting community and how we view sports. You would generally think that if you're trying to take things to a higher level, people will be right there with you. However, you get a point where this is not a Yankee, this is Ghana, Charlie, why are you worrying about time? Things like that. Things like that have been frustrated because the very same people you expect to be moving with you, taking these things to the next level. Simple things like taking inventory, simple things like filling forms, taking data. I'm not trying to be condescending, but the fact is that you've got to take things seriously to be taken seriously. You understand? We are still focusing on the 4 lines or the actual sport. Hey, I've scored you, we've won. But that is inconsequential. When you watch an NBA game or you watch the World Cup, there's somebody there who is making sure that things run on time, that fans are sitting in the seats so that they can sell that product to somebody else. And it doesn't care about who wins or who loses. It cares about the product and the event happening. You understand? A lot of these things happen way before, you understand? But we are still in that place where it's just about the day, you understand? Even just being able to trade our product for a certain value, you understand, is still a challenge. So over the years, I've come in contact with a number of people who still are of that mentality and believe that sports is just about we play, we sweat, we go home. But it is not. So those are the people who generally have disappointed me. But to be fair, there are a lot of people who honestly are really thinking next level. I want to push this to a global standard, and I'm always very grateful for those people. So it's not just a one-way street, as they say. So it's good. It's good. Anytime I'm asked that question, it's a little hard for me to answer because I'm still figuring it out myself. And I think that there's no one way to do it. But per my experience, I'd say do what you know, not necessarily what you love, but do what you understand, do what you want to figure out. Do what is not alien to you so that you have some kind of understanding and something tangible to hold on to when things don't go right, because things will not go right, which is a good thing. They say smooth or calm seas never made a skilled sailor. So it is part of the experience, you understand. I've had as a coach, I've had some of the worst losses ever, but however, that made me look very deep into how to coach a certain kind of team when you don't have all the talent in the world. And I would not have that experience if I did not go through. As a businessman, I've had some really bad experience. I didn't come into this to be a businessman. I came to bounce and shoot and win basketball games. But because that alone was not enough, and to take things to the next level, if you want to travel internationally, have higher competitions, you know, you want parents to come and watch basketball games, you have to create something where it is worth playing for. So I had to become a businessman, and I have evolved in that, you understand. Moving from a place where it's just about, you know, wearing shorts to moving into boardrooms and making pitches, you understand. That's a very different skill set. So it's not always been easy, and I've had embarrassing moments, but the fact is that those things have always built me up. And the only reason I was still in the game is because I had a desire to get better at it and have an understanding for it. So that's basically it. Do what you know, and be ready for the rough waters, and yeah, you'll be fine. And if not, well, do something else.